Hello and welcome to Indices, Fractional Powers. And in this short video we are going to go through some model answers. So let's begin with our first question. Number 1. Work out the value of 49 to the power of a half. 49 to the power of a half. First thing to notice is the number of marks this question has. This is typically a 1-mark question. Now to answer this, we will begin with the formulas that we have learned in our tutorials. And we know that if we have a to the power of a half, this is simply the square root of a. A to the power of a half is the square root of a. Now let's circle this to highlight the formula we're going to be using. So therefore 49 to the power of a half is simply the square root of 49. Now which number multiplied by itself gives 49? The answer is 7. And that is our answer. 49 to the power of a half equals 7. Now let's move on to our second question. Number 2. Work out the value of 81 to the power of 1/4. 81 to the power of 1/4. Again, this is a 1-mark question. Now from our tutorials, we know that if we have a to the power of a quarter, that equals, we write down the square root sign, and we put a 4 over here. Let's circle this. So that is the formula which applies to this question. So we have 81 to the power of quarter equals, and we write it down like this, 81, the root sign, and 4. So which number multiplied by itself 4 times gives 81? Now 81 is a familiar number, we should know this. The answer is simply 3. So we do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. I'm not sure if that shows up clearly. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, and 27 times 3 is 81. So therefore the answer is 3. 81 to the power of a quarter equals 3. Now let's move on to our next question. Number 3. Work out the value of x. We have 125 to the power of x equals 5. 125 to the power of x equals 5. So what is the value of x? Well, the first thing to notice is that this is a 1-mark question. Now this could even be a 2-mark question. So let's go through this. We have 125 to the power of x equals 5. Now you will notice that 5 can be multiplied 3 times to give us 125. So 5 to the power of 3 equals 125. Now if we have to take the 3 to the other side, in other words, we're going to write down 125, and we have x here. We simply take this 3 to the other side and we inverse it. So what happens is that 125 to the power of a third equals 5. So we've taken the power of 3 to the other side. And therefore, x equals 1/3. X equals 1/3. Now we can double check this using our formula. Now the formula we learnt in our tutorial was a to the power of a third equals the cube root of a. So if we have 125 to the power of a third, this is simply the cube root of 125, and the answer is 5. So we know that this is correct. X equals 1/3. Now let's move on to our next question. Number 4. What is the value of y? And we have y to the power of 1/4 equals 4. So this time we are being told what the power is, but we have to work out the number. Y to the power of 1/4 equals 4. Now the first thing to notice is that this is a 2-mark question. So let's go through this. We have y to the power of 1/4 equals 4. Now what we can do here is, let's take the quarter to the other side. This is the best way of answering the question. So this becomes y equals 4 to the power of 4. If we take it to the other side of the equal sign, it becomes inverted. So 1/4 becomes 4. And we can work through this. Now we know that 4 times 4 equals 16. Times another 4 equals 64. Times the last 4, don't forget there are 4 of them, that equals 256. Now you should already know this, but if not, you can actually show some workings out. So therefore, y equals 256. And that is the answer. Y equals 256. Now we can double check this using our formula. Let's write this down over here. So if we have a to the power of 1/4, which is what we have, y to the power of 1/4, that is simply, we write the root sign, a, and put 4 over here. So if we plug in the numbers on this, we have 256 to the power of 1/4 equals, and the number multiplied by itself 4 times is 4. Now this 4 relates to here, and the number 256 is the y. Therefore, y equals 256.